So today, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about using GIS throughout your district. I think from what I've heard, there's a lot of times where we just kind of get stuck in this, our departments are our mode, or we're making all these things and they don't always get out. But so often, I think there's a lot of information that can benefit the rest of the district. So just to start, I wanted to just give you a little introduction to who I am with a little story map here. So again, my name is Jared Nelson, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. So I live in Phoenix with my wife and my daughter Kate. She's turning 1 next week. All of these, thank you. We kept a human alive for 12 months. We deserve things, yeah. So all the maps that you'll be seeing, there's the different places that I'm talking about, where I'm from, education, things like that. So that is our neighborhood and that is our house. I zoomed it in enough that Terrell can't find where I live and come over, because. Yeah, So a little bit about my background. I have zero education in GIS, anything geography, anything urban planning, none of that stuff. I got my bachelor's degree from Arizona State University West Campus in 2011. My undergrad is in a bachelor's of science in communication. I kind of worked in their public speaking lab, emphasis on public speaking, interpersonal communication, things like that. And 6 weeks ago, I graduated with my master's degree in theology. So again, nothing to do with GIS at all. This is my most favorite place in the world, though, right here. It's in Mill Valley, California, just up in Marin. So it actually doesn't exist anymore, by the way. They had to sell the campus up there, so that bench is long gone. And so after I graduated from ASU, I just needed a job while I was going into seminary. I just needed something to pay the bills, and well, I used to work for Washington in a classroom to pay the bills in my undergrad, so why not work for Washington in purchasing to pay the bills while I was there? And I was there a couple years and loved it and thought, okay, in 2 more years I'll be out of here. But there was another job posting that opened, and it was the administrative assistant to business services, and I said, I don't want that. I don't want to go get someone's coffee all day and whatever else, admin assistants do. But there was this little line in there, and it said that you would be the candidate would be managing data in the demographic program. I didn't know what that was. I'd never heard of GIS or enrollment projections or redistricting or anything like that. But I worked in purchasing, and so I was able to pull up a PO and find one to Davis Demographics, and was able to kind of get on their website, and I watched one of Greg's webinars and went, oh, this is cool. This is real powerful. And so I talked about that in my job interview, and they liked that. And then I had no clue what I was doing when I got there. No background, never seen the software, nothing like that. So I spent 6 months just grinding it out, and I can't even tell you how many geocode files that I had that were just like 30%, 12%, whatever else. They were awful. Like they were just, because I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that there was this, I had the manual of like, click here, do this, do that. I had no idea why nothing was working. And so I had to beg and beg and beg and basically get an act of Congress and with Ken's help, get our governing board to allow me to come out to Riverside to get some training. That was 2 years ago. I like to call it like taking a drink from a fire hose. You guys know it is just so much to learn all at once, and especially by yourself. So that was fun. And so that somehow brings us to today. I really mean it when, like I said, I just was applying for this job, and I saw this software, and I said, this is really cool and really robust, and you can do a lot of really great things with this. And I just kind of caught this vision for what we could do. And so with the training and just spending all that time and just kind of getting to know more of the software, it's really become something where it's no longer, I was telling Ken this last night, I thought I was going to have a job for a few years and then bail and never think about it again. But I never expected to find something that I was truly passionate about and good at and loved doing the way I am. To the point where I'm again looking at like another master's program, which I think I have some kind of illness or something, because I don't know why I'd want to do that again. But it's to the point where I'm no longer the admin assistant to business services. They just changed the title and a raise and all that kind of stuff to just say, you know what, this position that we planned on, that would be a small piece of what you do. I've taken it to a whole other place that it doesn't even resemble that job anymore, and so it's something completely different. So I owe a lot to the GIS software and school site and all this stuff. So again, it's something I truly believe in and love doing. So just to give you a little bit of information about our district, because I'll show you a little bit of maps and data and things like that. Don't take my idea and don't embed your school site locator in your story map for the competition, because that's my idea. So, so the Washington Elementary School District is in Phoenix, Arizona. There's a very small part of it that's in Glendale. We're 44 square miles. We have 32 schools, and we have, I was mentioning this earlier, we have 18 K-6 schools, 2 K-5 schools, 7 K-8 schools, and 5 middle schools. One of those middle schools is a 6-8, and the other ones are 7-8. So my summary at the bottom of my attendance matrix is like 5 rows, which is awful. But when the recession came along, it hit our district really hard. And so we've had a lot of change in the last 10 years. It's a whole another district. I spend most of my day just saying things like, yeah, it used to be that way, but you need to know it's not anymore. You know, everyone knows, oh, it's this way, or this family lives there, or this kind of whatever. It's just not like that anymore. Okay. So for so long, our district has kept, you know, I'm sure many of you were like the same, data was kept in spreadsheets and student information systems, and there was no geographic element to it other than people live somewhere and have an address. I wanted to show you our current districts, our maps page. So if you go to our website and go to district maps, this makes me cry. This is our website, our map site, because I cannot get our communications department to change it, and it haunts my dreams. 5,000 people go to this site every year. We get 5,000 hits there. And I am begging to put our ArcGIS Online page there, like our maps page. And they said, people like static maps. That lady retired on June 30th, and I was telling Kendra there, I'm like dancing. Like, I'm going to go back on Monday and be like, who's in charge? Because I'm putting something else up, and it's better. So this is what I'm dealing with. Anyway. So just some of the things, again, I'm really, that's our page right now. Let me put it up there. So there's like a district tour. These are, there's nothing in these. These are story maps with nothing in them because I'm not allowed to post anything, so I had to create all these proofs of concept of, hey, look what we can do. Hey, look what we can do. Because I don't know why. I don't know what I said that I'm not allowed to post things, but they let me speak here, so joke's on you guys. But yeah, district tour, you know, signature programs, and we'll get to that stuff later, but just again, I want to talk about the great things that we can do with the software and how it can benefit the whole district. All right, let's see if this thing works now. So I wanted to go back to Greg's conference goals for us, because I think if I'm been invited here, I should probably point back what I'm doing back to what his goals are for the conference. So he wants us to learn, think about how to take advantage of new technology to analyze, share, and inform. I think that's a huge piece of what we should be doing. Is we're the ones that have the skills and the ability and the resources to analyze the data, to get information, and then to share it out. And you know, the goal here is for us to be sharing, you know, with each other and to network and all that. But when we go back home, again, I think our job is to share for the purpose of informing. I mean, what else are you going to do? Just let it rot in your database and good for you, you did a good job, you know, no one knows. And then also to share experience with your colleagues. Again, build off each other's knowledge. Because I know nothing about student achievement, but I have to map it somehow. All right, so the big question, how can GIS be used throughout your school district? Okay, I have a couple basics. I didn't know what everyone's level of using stuff is at. So can I just ask, who has like a degree or like a super extensive background in GIS? You know, if you're wearing a blue shirt, you put your hands down. Okay, right. Okay, no, like just a couple? Yeah, you don't count. Okay, I'm super excited to see that because I don't want to be like the kid, like I don't know what I'm doing. You know? So I'm really glad I heard this a lot today. So what do you need before you can get started? You need to have usable student data, like Greg was saying, especially with this update to 10.4. If any of you guys haven't updated yet, you have to have like really good data to get any of this stuff to work well. When I left Riverside from my training, I think I literally spent 6 to 8 weeks fixing our data, like fixing the streets and fixing the student information system. Like it was a train wreck. The street data I got from the county had more errors than streets. It was awful. Like it just, like no ranges or backwards or, I don't even know, Lauren probably put it together. It was awful. And then, No, here's what happened. So when I started in this position, Lauren had come out and set up our district years prior, but no one knew what to do with it, so it sat for years. And I pulled up our study areas, and we have this freeway that runs right through the middle of town. And he made it its own study area, and it's like 12 miles long, and it's called BMH. And there's like no kids assigned to the BMH school, but I'm like, what is this? And finally I realized it's Black Mountain Highway, and I'm like, thanks, Lauren. Yeah. So anyway, just again, my emphasis would say, you have to have just like good student data. It has to be in good shape, or otherwise you're going to have garbage coming back out. Street data has to be in good shape, because if you can't, you can't geocode those kids, if you can't put them where they truly are, your analysis is going to be so flawed and off that you might as well just not do it. And then, the study areas, it didn't take long, but I just spent a lot of time. We had 200 study areas when we needed to have about 350, so I just split a ton of those up. Garbage in, garbage out. Yeah. So these are, you guys know this. This is the backbone of everything we do. So I'm a huge advocate for invest the time. I think we said that earlier. The first time you do it, it'll take a while, but you'll be set up for success for years to come. And then obviously accuracy is crucial. I think especially with what we do, when we're talking about student counts and student numbers and who lives where, there are other people in the district who are aware of this information. If you say, well, you have 500 kids at your school, they're like, actually, I checked this morning, there's 600. So people can critique you. People know what they truly have, and they're aware of to some level. And so, again, to have good student data is so, so, so crucial. I'm preaching to the choir. I know you guys know this. So, and then this is my best friend. We were talking about this at lunch. If I were to, who had the bus? Was that Lauren with the bus rule? If I got hit by a bus tomorrow, or dropped dead, or moved to wherever, the person who comes in after me, I can go, it's on this place on the network. Here's where it is. You know what I mean? There's no question as to where the data is. No one has to dig through weird files and where did he save that. This is huge to me. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't work for Davis or anything, so I'm just another guy who uses it. But if you're not doing this, I would really recommend it. That's definitely one thing when they're like, no, like they say that, no, yeah, whatever. No, really do it. It's really good. So, okay. So once you can reliably geocode your students, once you have good student data and all that, then you can start to learn a lot more about them. And you guys know this, before you even get other data sources in, just from your student data, you can have so much that you can learn here. What are some things that you guys tell me that you find in your own student data, like that you find valuable, just from the start? Anything other than you have their name and address, but beyond that, what else? Mobility.
Of course, comparing where they live to where they are going to school, the ins and outs is huge.
Sure. What about things like ethnicity?
Yeah, I was going to say, I just started working with my school district, but just knowing demographics, things like that. You can look at things like reduced lunch, free lunch.
There you go, yeah.
And also kind of seeing where they're coming from, economic status, and things like that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Concentration of English language learners.
Yeah, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. We do something with truancy where we map the quantity of truancy to the kids.
Good. Yeah, there's all these things that we have just beyond, the name of the kid and where they live and all that stuff. We have free and reduced lunch, the SPED program. We have all the program information as to what they do every day. You even have their class schedule probably if you wanted it. I think it'd be kind of hard to set up but you could do that kind of stuff. I'm starting to look at, I want to see like a teacher's credentials versus the student's achievement. Things like that. Those are things I'm starting to look at. But that's all stuff that you just have in your student information system. Things like, you can see it with withdrawal rates and, locations. That's one thing that's been real big for us is people are asking, well, where are we losing kids? Or where are we losing them to is more important. Does anyone else get asked the question, can you tell me where the kids that don't go here go? Does anyone else get asked that? Thank you. Okay, yeah, you guys know. And I'm like, how would I do that? And I said, if they were here before, I can tell you that they left, and maybe in the the student record stuff. But I said, how do you want me to know if there's a kid who never came here, where they're going? And they kind of stop and they go, I guess so. Okay, yeah. So who has open enrollment in their state or district or whatever? Yeah, a couple. Okay, good. So open enrollment trends are huge. I'm sure you guys know that's one thing that's been awesome. I'll talk more about that when I get to the attendance matrix, but I got asked what would happen if we got rid of open enrollment. And I just kind of giggled. I said, okay, I'll show you. And then again,
How do you demographics
Yeah, right. That's when you get out your data collector and you go around to all of the different people. Yeah.
This is already
You make them sign when they come in, sign their name and their address so you can put it up on a map, and then you go around the data collector like angry. Angry. Yeah.
Make a really good story map.
But wait till after the competition because that's mine. Yeah.
One other client that had done stuff too is, again, they looked at exits where kids were going to other districts, where they left to go to another district, and they mapped that to all the districts and color-coded by the surrounding districts they were going to, so they could see pockets of where they were losing kids to potentially find methods or answers to how to stem that.
But just make sure that was where actually students that were in that district,
Yes.
and they did a exit survey for them.
Yes.
They had a lot of data that's not available.
When my superintendent asked me, can we find out where the kids that don't go here, where they go, I said, I'll put a freedom of information request into other neighboring districts if you'd like, but that'll cause a riot. I mean, I'm not doing that. So yeah, areas of need, any refugee kids, that was huge. We had, we have a country of origin, a birth in our student information system. So I put up, or language, home language, huge. So I put those kids all up. It was like one dot. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? That was the apartment complex where they placed refugees. And so now we knew, okay, services at this school, we need to be paying attention here, social workers, everyone look. That's the kind of thing that, where they were born, who cares? That's the cool thing though. That's where you can put up there. Free and reduced lunch. Our district has 97% free and reduced lunch, so just all of our schools have it. So that's kind of doesn't help us. But SPED and et cetera, you guys know, there's all kinds of stuff. So tying geography to your data gives you another layer of context. I saw this definition of information that I really liked. It's tying context to your data that allows for analysis. Context and meaning. These are the things that we need to put towards our data so that it means something. A list of addresses is nothing until you get that context of the geography. And I saw this quote the other day. Did anyone else see the article about the history of data visualization? I was the only one that read that. It was amazing. And I told my wife, and she's like, "What is that?" And she told me to stop. Yeah. Did you see it? Oh, is that an L? Thank you. For Lauren, right? L for love. Yeah. So William Playfair said that good data visualization produces form and shape to a number of separate ideas which are otherwise abstract and unconnected. How cool is that for what we do? That's what we do. Okay, so other data that can be useful. Again, I didn't know where who was going to be here and what's going on, so I'm going to go through a list. But you guys, tell me if you have other ones. You're like, you don't know about this or that, or if I'm missing something here. So obviously, we all know birth rates and mobility for enrollment projections and redistricting. This past year, I was asked to create staffing projections. I said, the software doesn't do that. I'm sorry. And they said, well, can you do it? And I said, the software doesn't do that. I'm sorry. But I spent 2 months creating staffing projections for all of our schools. The real cool thing is that they came out to exactly the same as our as what the staffing ended up after leveling, which I mentioned earlier. If you guys, I was commenting, but teachers moved kind of at the beginning of the year. After everything was final and placed, perfect. There were a couple that were off, and I said, I don't understand why these ones are off. Or we would need 4 teachers, but you had 5 or 6. And I said, yeah, those are the special circumstances. Every single one of them, they said, yeah, there's this thing, we can't tell you about it, but you were right. So that was really cool to see. I gave the staffing projections to our HR, and I said, hey, this is just another tool for your arsenal. Just kind of consider it this year. It's brand new. And they went, no, we're going to use it. This is how we staffed our district this year. So I may or may not be employed in October. We'll see what happens, if it went well or didn't. Capacity. Does anyone else have trouble finding a real good capacity for your schools?
There's so many, there's like 3 different versions.
Right? That's what I had, 3 different versions of capacity. Do you want to know how I fixed that? I went and I measured every single classroom we have. All 1,523 classrooms, I measured them. I've seen them all. Yeah, which was not fun. I don't like that. But now we... But here's what I'd say, okay, your school is projected to have 700 kids next year. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Are you already over capacity and now we have a problem, or are you way under and this is going to fix it? So we had to have a real good capacity, and I'd be happy to share that methodology or whatever with you guys if you'd like to see it, but it's crazy. Student record data. This is one that I found valuable because, again, we keep a record of when kids leave the district. So, I mean, again, if you never came here, what am I going to do? But if you left, a lot of times we keep a record of where did we send those records to. So now I can say, okay, you left, but you left for this charter, or you left for this other district. Is anyone else doing this kind of stuff? Am I okay? I don't want to.
Goes back to what they were saying.
Yeah.
So I'm tracking where they're going. That could help.
Yeah. If I'm saying something, everyone's like, yeah, no, keep going. Just tell me.
With the student data record?
Yeah.
I did have a district, they actually did a survey, asked them where they're going, why they're going there, and a couple of other
Yep.
questions. Got the whole demographic information from that, so
Yep.
we're really able to do some good data analysis on it.
Yeah, and I do that too, and I also tie it back to, like, I'll take student poll from the last day of school and then the first day or 10 days in, and I'll say, okay, who left, and then we can tie it back to that student records later.
Theoretically, like in California, every kid has a state ID and the CVEDS thing. So theoretically, you can talk to the state and they can tell you where the kids live. But I don't know if anyone's ever tried that. I don't know if they give it to you either.
Arizona's going that way. We have a new system that went online July 1, and it's not ready, but it's online, and we're being funded by it. So we're getting there. Student achievement data, this is, obviously it's not something you think of usually geographically, but if you can tie it to a kid, what if you could see that a whole apartment complex was failing math? Tutors there, or whatever you think of. Zoning data, you guys know this, find the zoning, find what's going on and what's changing. Other educational organizations, I pulled every childcare, preschool, and even the higher educations that I could find in the area, because we want to, when registration time comes in August, we get overloaded. We get like 300 or 400 a day in our facility, and we can't handle that. And so we're taking flyers, postcards, whatever, out to the daycares ahead of time to say, hey, give these to your parents that are coming up into elementary school, so that we can hopefully get some of that traffic in earlier rather than wait till the week before. And then higher education, we're looking to partner with colleges, universities in the area so that we can maybe help employees get degrees at a discount or other things like that. Who else has a charter school problem in their district? Yeah, I know you do. Yeah. So that's, again, one thing I keep getting asked. How bad are the charters hitting us? If they didn't come here, I don't know. But again, student records data, we can tell where they left, and if the charters are bad, we can also see how many and where. So, yeah. Other district boundaries. I have your boundaries. Does anyone else keep the other districts around their boundaries? One? Really?
Well,
Okay.
Our county has all that data.
Well, we're a high school district, so I keep all the elementary
Okay.
boundaries.
I have everything down.
I think this is super important, and I'll show you my attendance matrix. I break out where they're coming from, which neighboring district, so we can tell exactly who's coming from where and potentially why.
You can get the outlying boundaries from the census data.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just need the shape files, because that's always how it comes, is a shape file.
We've added in school site locator, the web application for a couple of districts, we've added surrounding districts to them. So if a parent comes to your site, types in, wants to know what school they're attending, if their address they put is outside your district, it tells them what district they're in, but it encourages them to, call us if you would like to attend our award-winning school. So we don't just send them off to somewhere else. Okay, you're in a neighboring district, but you can contact us if you want to enroll your kids in our school. So it doesn't leave them in the air that they're just not in the district.
And I hope I'm not putting more work on you guys. I asked your staff about that a year or two ago. I said, can I put other districts' boundaries just so that it says, you know what, you do live in Peoria, but if you'd like to come here, and put a link to our open enrollment form.
Yeah.
So right then and there, it pops it up, and they can print it out, fill it out.
If we haven't talked about, if we haven't
I'm coming after your kids specifically, yeah.
done or had that discussion, let's chat after.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all coming from Peoria, in case anyone wants to know. Washington is fueled solely by Peoria kids. Yeah. Then parcel data. There's all kinds of applications for that. You could build a locator out of that and all kinds of stuff. So, I just like to look and see where my coworkers, how much their houses cost. So, all right. Attendance matrices. Who's using an attendance matrix? Like, who does these? I hope everyone's hand goes up. Really, guys? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Some of the other data that you can have is.
Yes.
I use bike paths,
Oh yeah.
sidewalks, what areas have sidewalks and what don't.
Huh.
Bus route, of course. So there's some other data out there that you can use.
That's all good
Go
stuff.
on your city and your county websites. They have an abundance of data, most of them, that you can download, you didn't even know you can use, so.
Railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
It's too hot for us to go outside in Phoenix, so we don't even. That's where we cook our meals, is out on the sidewalk. We don't worry about that. Yeah. Okay. I got to tell you a story. When we were driving, we got here on Tuesday night, and my wife is just like in awe of the hotel, and she's so happy. And she goes, "Can you believe we're in California?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Well, this morning we were in Phoenix, and now we're in California." And we just got out of the car for 6 hours with a baby. And I said, "This is geography, not magic, right?" and she goes, "To me, it's magical." My wife taught kindergarten for 8 years. Some of you might have met her. She's the blonde who, like, sparkles come off of her or something. I don't know. She's just odd that way. But she knows it. It's okay. She knows. But when I started printing out attendance matrices for our district, it was like magic to them. I got a raise. Like, it blew their minds that this was possible, that we could see this kind of thing. So when I mentioned before, I got asked about open enrollment. Hey, what would happen if we got rid of open enrollment? I just laughed. Because, I want to come over here. Can I come over? No, I won't come over there. You guys are lucky. You're lucky I like you. Okay, so right here, it doesn't come out like this. I kind of tweaked it and stuff. But in district open enrollment, we have 23,000 students. We'll say 2,200 without SPED. 22,000 students. 2,600 of them go to a different school within our district than where they live. So that's one problem. So let's say we tell them, no, you have to go to your home school. They're going to look for charters, private schools, online schools, potentially other things, right? Then we have, did I put it on there? Out of district open enrollment. And this is why I keep the other district's boundaries, so I can tell you, we have 289 from Peoria. Sorry, bud. So, but we have almost, yeah, I know. That's the worst part. He probably does. No, you probably do. That's the best part. But, yeah, we have 1,400 from out of the district. So we get funding of $4,500 per student times 1,400 students. You want to tell me you don't need that much funding anymore? On top of all the ones that left because you told them to go to their home school rather than to where they wanted to go?
We even break it down where we do out of district, but their parent may be an employee within the district.
We do that too, yeah. So when I got asked, well, what happened? There's one principal who said, I hate it. I have all these kids coming from this other school, and I shouldn't have to have them. We need to get rid of open enrollment. I said, what was it? He loses 90 to other schools, but he gets 60. I said, you're going to get more kids than that's the wrong argument to make, bud. So, but this, I'm not joking. People thought this was magical to them. I get asked for these all of the time, and I have to, when I make them, it has a for internal use only, and all of these disclaimers at the bottom, so that I don't ever get, well, you said we had this or we had that. So, if you're not using an attendance matrix or have some of them, think about it because people love this. Other sources of information, I was just trying to think what else we have. Census tracts and block groups. Do you guys keep that? You pulled that off of the American Community Survey and all that stuff? Yeah. Because this, once I figured out how to join tables, oh my gosh, I found all kinds of things I never knew that I could do. Because before manually, I was putting in the column 12, 23. I was just entering them in, and I realized there was a join. I'm this is amazing. So what's been really huge to see in our district is median age, ethnicity, educational attainment has been amazing to see, educational attainment. Because once we saw their level of education of the parents, poverty, single parent homes, household income, home values, and home versus renters all lined up. It was the same map 6 times or 7 times. It was incredible to see. But now we could prove these things. When people are saying, well, low income students have this or that problem. Okay, well, they have all of this going on. That was really important for people to see. Lauren, I'm sorry, you're going to hate my maps, but I made these real quick just to show you guys a little bit of data. This is not how I would normally present them, so please don't hate me or throw me out. If you want me to go, I'll just sneak out this door here. This is just median. This is our district, obviously. I used to not have the major streets, but people kept saying, well, I don't know where that is. So I added major streets in there. But this is just median age for our, I think it's our census tracts. And we saw, okay, these are young families, and these are poor families, and these are renting families, and single home families, all that kind of stuff. What was real cool was the young and the older are right next to each other, and then this is educational attainment over here. It's 8% versus 38, and then, what was that, 55% right there? Just they're right next to each other, but you don't know there's a mountain there. So that's the kind of thing you wouldn't see. But this kind of stuff has been huge. I get asked for this like daily from our communications department because they're meeting with other businesses, other organizations that they want to help our district, and now they can point to it and say, hey, this is where we'd like you to place your services, or we have a need here, rather than just, will you help our district and we'll direct you later. So this has been really big for us. Again, single parent homes, home ownership. You see these percentages here, all it is the number in that block group or the census tract divided by the total number of homes or people or whatever in that area. And it's just kind of a script in the label. If you guys know how to do that, it's pretty simple and awesome. But yeah, just kind of normalize the data. So that's been great to see. Other data sources, we've had, it's called a trip reduction survey. Every company in the county that has more than 25 employees fills it out. Where do you live? How far do you drive? Do you carpool? Blah, blah, blah. The Maricopa Association of Governments puts that together for us. And there's really valuable data there as far as working centers and things like that. BAT is our business advisory team. We have businesses that partner with our district, give money, volunteer, things like that. No one ever knew where they were until we plotted them up on a map, and everyone went crazy for it. And then just data from the city. The day before I came here, I got employee information. I had to beg for it because we had a data leak a couple months ago where everyone's W-2s got sent out to China or something. And so, someone sent it out. It wasn't like we were hacked. Someone sent it because they were smart and they don't work there anymore. Teacher data, I just finally got employee data, and so I'm just starting to sift through some of that. And then voting precincts. Do you guys keep track of your elections and your bond elections and all that stuff? Okay, good. Because that's been huge for us. Where did we lose the election, or where did we win it? Like, where are our advocates? That kind of stuff.
How many have actually mapped that? How many have actually mapped results from your elections? Like precincts, my last district we did, but not.
Yeah. So this is that business advice, or the Maricopa Association of Governments legend. That's for Lauren. Sorry. It'll never happen again, I swear. I looked at these last night. I was kind of getting ready, and I'm like, I feel like an amateur hour up here. Like, don't look at them. But this is number of employees and the number of businesses. That's our business partners, our business advisory partners. Just where are they? And so we said, well, why aren't there any right here? And then I got asked, why are there none right here? That's a mountain. This is our overrides. So we know, where did we lose our last elections? Where do we need to focus voter education? Where do we need to hold some kind of bond election or task force meetings or all of these kinds of things? Where do we need to do this stuff? Well, this is where we lost. This is where we came close. And the only thing that's kind of hard is you get restricted by the data you get from again, it's us, it's our county recorder. They change the precincts all the time. So here, one year it looks like this, and the next year it looks like that. So that's hard.
If you go and get information about voters who voted yes, the percentage in that area that voted yes, and then the percentage that actually voted, those two pieces of information, you always want to go for the yes votes, right?
Yep.
So if you have an area that has a high propensity of yes votes in a recent election and get a low voter turnout, that's the area you concentrate to get more yes votes.
Yep. And that was really cool to see. And again, this is what's been really great for our district is, I can pop up the number of yes votes or total votes or whatever. It doesn't mean anything unless you can, again, give it a percentage or normalize it in some way that it makes sense. And the percentages are nice because, if I have, 5,000 here, well, what if there's like 30,000 people that live there? You know what I mean? That doesn't help. Okay, so here's some decisions. I just want to kind of briefly walk through these. If you have a question on one of them or you want me to explain something or I explained it wrong, let me know. These are things that we've kind of done or decisions we've made using geography in some way or another. Again, I mentioned focused voter education. Where did we lose elections? Who do we need to talk to? Placement of translation staff. So again, I had home language. We plotted that up to see where are there pockets of people. So we have a very high, Spanish-speaking population, and so we have certain nights for parent-teacher conferences that have translation, and so we were able to say, here's the really big pockets of that, or people from Burma, there's a huge pocket here, let's put a translator there on this night, things like that. We actually even moved, I don't think it was because of this, I really don't, but we recently moved our translation staff to another school. I think it was more of a space thing. But again, that could have been a decision of if they're always going to the south end of the district, let's put them there. But no one asked me because I just keep the data. I kind of mentioned the open enrollment policy a little bit. I was asked, is it worth keeping? Yeah, you're going to save at most $500,000, but you're going to lose 1.7 in funding or something like that. It was pretty loud. I was able to give some data for our office staffing rubric, so we kind of, how many office technicians or office managers or whatever do we need at each school. It's not obviously the main consideration, but we wanted to know how many kids are there in the area that speak another language, because those parents do take up more time in the office. How many people are in attendance in the area, how many people live there, all that kind of stuff. Teacher staffing was based on enrollment projections. Like I said, I created enrollment projections and then staffing projections on top of that. That was huge. Our credit rating. So what this one is, when we're going out for a bond in the fall, and we had to get our credit rating updated before we can go out. And both of the credit agencies that we talked to asked, do you have a demographer on staff, or are you contracting it out to someone? And they were both pleasantly surprised that I was there, and they both mentioned it as a positive, because they don't hear that a lot. So they were very happy to hear that. So keep that in mind if you want to sell yourself. Like, hey, this is a good thing. They want to know that we're not just throwing money into the wind. School rebuild, we were able to see, we need to rebuild a school. Obviously, it's falling apart anyway, but we now know how many kids are in the area. What do we need to plan for? What's the long-term area look like? Not just that one school, not the one boundary, but the whole region. What do we need to plan there long-term? SPED program placement. I haven't been able to do a lot of this yet because I don't know if anyone cares what I have to say on it really, but we're seeing things like, okay, you've got a big pocket of kids here, or that program shouldn't be at that school, it should be over here, it's more efficient for transportation. Those things I'm working on. I'm starting to get those conversations going, but has anyone been doing any of that at all? No.
That's where,
that's where
the tools we're building, as I mentioned the first day, the location allocation, and looking at programs and candidate schools and having it pick the best site or sites based upon the criteria, I think will be helpful.
I was talking to Jacob about some of that this morning, so that's definitely where we're going with that. I was excited to see that. Schools of focus due to mobility trends. We saw a lot we get that mobility table, the chart or whatever that prints out. We started to see we were losing kids between 6th and 7th grade, like that middle school transition. And we started to ask those questions, well, why? I mean, it might be kind of a natural thing that happens potentially, but not to that extent. And so we were able to ask, what's going on in that area? Oh, look, there's a charter. Oh, look, there's this or that. So that was huge. It was just nice to clean up the student data. Like I said, I spent months on that. And do you guys have a centralized registration location? Does anyone have that? Do you find that your data is amazing and really good? Or could it be the opposite, I guess, maybe? Yeah. I have data from prior to our registration center being open, and then now. And when I geocode now, I'll maybe get 40 that don't match. I mean, it's really low, and it's usually because they transpose a letter, or there's an extra letter, or a space missing, or things like that just human beings do. But before that, I had hundreds every time. The data was awful, so it's really cool to have people doing that. So if you don't have that, maybe put that seed in someone's ear. I don't know. Yeah, right. Yeah, she's amazing. And then I was talking about our Orangewood project, so I'm going to kind of go through this a little bit. So this is a chart of enrollment at our Orangewood school, but don't tell anyone. So the blue line there is our total enrollment. The orange is our resident enrollment, and the gray is our open enrollment. So no one had this information because we had no way to tell who was open enrollment and who wasn't, other than to bust out a street directory, I guess, and go one by one. All we had was their total enrollment for years. And so everyone said, well, look, their enrollment is pretty much steady. No problem, let's keep doing what we're doing. I started to look at it, and I said, wait a minute, their open enrollment is tanking. No one's going there anymore from out of the area. Look at it, it's all resident kids, all of it. And so we had to start to look at, well, what's going on over here? So I was able to identify enrollment issues with GIS that no one was aware of previously. There were some enrollment trends that just we didn't know that existed. And they were only visible from a map. They weren't something that you could spot in a spreadsheet or we have Synergy, student information system. So this is Orangewood's area right here. What do you guys see? Do you see there's a lot of nothing over here? Isn't that crazy? So that's that's what we were initially, like I'm looking at a map and I'm like, wait, what's going on right here? Why is this area so empty? And let me zoom out for you a little bit. This is our whole district. Who sees it here?
Oh, you border another district.
Right. Well, we're landlocked. We have districts all around us. Look at all this open enrollment, like up here, like everywhere. There's tons of open enrollment kids, right? And then it kind of just trails off. No. There's a little bit. They're highly educated. They're slightly older, so there's some of that. Don't get me wrong. But there's just all of a sudden there's no kids over. We're not pulling a lot of kids from. This is Madison School District. What? I'm hearing something.
Charter school or private school?
Right. So this is Madison School District. We realized we're not getting any kids from Madison. So what I did is we started to look into Madison a little bit. What's going on over there? This is educational attainment. You see, like, look. What it is, it's anyone with a bachelor's degree or higher, that percentage. Does Keith live there?
Yeah, he called him already.
Oh, come on, Keith.
I don't live there, but I called him.
So, like 9% of these adults over 25 have a bachelor's degree or greater. But then you have, what, 70, is that 77 or 72? 77% over here. And then, it leaks over here. But this is exactly what we saw, right? All these kids in here, and it kind of starts to trail, and then it's non-existent. So again, we can kind of see something is going on here demographically. We didn't have kids there because Orangewood is very high performing, and they have 45% open enrollment. They pull kids from every other district around them like you wouldn't believe, and they boast this. Like, we have 45% open enrollment. Like, no one that goes there lives there. It's incredible. And what they do, which is awful, if you want to go to their kindergarten, you have to go to their preschool. So when we used to say, why are the kindergartners not coming here? We need to be asking, we're not even getting kindergartners because we don't have them earlier. We're losing them at 4, not 5. We need to have a preschool program right there. You guys get where I'm going with this? This is the kind of thing, and like the superintendent loved this stuff. So this was all really great. I'm glad that we have a new superintendent this year last year who loves data. So that was awesome. But yeah, preschool enrollment, we're losing them earlier than we think. We're losing them before they would even come to us. So we were trying to figure out how do we combat this. We're adding a 4-year-old enrichment program at Orangewood. I heard this year, but I'm the one who keeps the capacity, and they're over capacity. So I'm excited to see what happens. The principal is brand new. They're going to be like putting them on the roof or like double-decker desks or something. I don't know. It's going to be cool. Hammocks everywhere. I don't know. Whole new furniture, like a whole new furniture style will come out of this, of double-decker student stuff. Yeah. So the principal is now going and walking the neighborhood, meeting all the families. Orangewood has a robotics program that competes, like at least in the state, I think nationally even sometimes. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But that's something that people should know, especially in that area. It's a huge STEM program. That's awesome. And then this is one of the big schools where you hear a lot of anecdotal information, like, oh yeah, I used to live there, oh I live there, oh yeah, we know this family and that family. So we're combating that a little bit. So just real quickly, one thing I want to go forward from here. So what do I want to do next with it? What do I want to do with our data? So I want to put it online. I want to really push into ArcGIS online. I showed you our district maps page. I hate it. I hate it. So I want to put some really good district maps up there. I want to put a lot of information up there after December 31st when the competition's over. I want to have a district tour. I want to have a district tour so that if you're moving from Connecticut into our area, you can go, well, what are the cool things that are happening in Washington? Where do I want my kids to go there? Because I do want my kids to go there. I want to showcase some of the higher performing achievement schools. Again, signature programs, share demographic information with the community. How cool would it be for a church or a business or some other organization to say, hey, whoa, I didn't know that in our area this or that was a problem, but we can connect with the schools and help build them up with that. Again, just create even just basic online maps to replace what we have. I want to keep looking at elections so we know where we're doing well and where we're not. Recently, they had no way to know where summer school buses were going to drop kids off. They had no way to communicate that or tell people where to go. So I said, well, just give me the address of the bus stop. Maps up. So now, I mean, it's not great, but you can type in your address and say, okay, there's a stop right around me. It's right here. It was done in 5-10 minutes, but it saved, I mean, how many, you have to call, every parent would have to call the summer school coordinator if that wasn't there. And then I want to get to the point where we have we have bond projects and school construction and things like that. I want to have a living map of here's the projects that are currently happening, and you can go on there and say, what's going on at my school? Oh, they're putting in a new parking lot. Oh, they're tearing down the portable. Whatever those things are, I want to have a map where people can go and see that stuff in relatively real time and know what's going on. These are a list of all of the departments that have asked me for things over the last year or so. Do you guys have something similar? Are you getting lots of requests for this stuff? Okay, I don't want to, so yeah. I mean, everyone is looking for things. I got asked, what are we going to have next year for enrollment? We need to put it in the budget. Are we going to increase or decrease, stay the same? What are we going to do? You mentioned security and truancy kind of stuff, mapping truancy, that's been huge. Mapping attendance.
And the biggest one is when they're having a board meeting that night and they need a map like that night.
Right? That's the best. That's why I go home at 4 o'clock, so by the time they realize, I am long gone. I learned that from Lauren. Yeah. Yeah. So again, I'm sure you guys know this. I'm preaching to the choir here. I know that, but if you're not pulling in all kinds of data, if you're not really analyzing your district and your kids and your families and what's happening there, there's this whole district that you have that is not getting the information they need. They're potentially not making wise, well-informed decisions. So again, GIS and school site can make you the shining star of your district. Your district can gain a lot of valuable insight from the population, the community as a whole. And one thing, again, that's been really big for me to see is that we can challenge or prove a lot of the assumptions that people make based on anecdotal information, or I used to be the principal there. I know that, I'm sure it was in 1985, but what you need to know now is that this is what it looks like. Those are the kinds of things that are happening. Before I'm happy to answer questions if you guys have anything or whatever, but I just wanted to mention I'm really enjoyed just being here with everyone and just kind of getting to know you guys and hearing kind of the things that are happening. I don't know if anyone else is up for this or if it's just me, but I would love to kind of I have like business cards, just give everyone a card. We can kind of maybe get like an email group or something going where, hey, does anyone know how to find this in school site? Or how do you, what was that chart called or any of that kind of stuff? So if you guys want, again, I have a business card or give me yours or whatever, and maybe we could get like just like a listserv or something going as users of this software to kind of help each other and build each other up. Because that's the thing, I think we do this so often in isolation in this bubble. And don't get me wrong, Davis is here to help you guys know that. They're always ready to help us, but it'd be cool if we could kind of Greg mentioned, like, yeah, because what was the goal of the conference is to grow and talk to each other. So again, like I said, I have cards if you guys want to give me yours, whatever. We'll figure it out and we'll get some emails going and maybe get a group together so we can.
Maybe a Facebook group or something.
Something, yeah, we'll figure it out. But I just thought it'd be nice to kind of get a nice. We network for a few days and then it's gone. So yeah. So again, I hope I'm not stepping on toes, but I just thought that'd be real cool to kind of get some use, because obviously we're all using it to some extent. So it'd be nice to be able to keep that going.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.